Hey guys, Chris here from Carolette Miniature Horses. I am heading into town today because my original plans of painting fences was foiled by the rain this morning. So being as everything is too wet to paint, I am going to head into town and take a little sneak peek at a couple of minis. I did see yesterday evening where one of our local equine rescues has multiple minis that they are saying are very kind and quiet and could have the potential to be really wonderful children's, ponies, not mounts, but projects. And so I'm going to go to town and see what I see. So I'm looking for another mini that can step into the beginner horsemanship program and really also be something that is suitable to take off the farm. I ideally want to be taking Rocky and another to a few horse shows this spring to get him acclimated, because there is a very good chance that he could be going to the state horse show in the fall. And so it's my job as his owner and as the instructor of my student to make sure that he is as prepared as possible. And that means he does need to get off the farm. He needs to get those miles, but I want to do so with a companion. And the horses that I currently have right now, Shenanigans and both Shenanigans and Snuggles are very young. And so I don't necessarily want to take their young energy to Rocky's first couple of shows because I don't want them to be a distraction. And then I have Sweetheart, who is a super steady, quiet horse, but because she has heaves or allergies, but I'm thinking it's heaves, I don't want to stress her anymore by hauling her and taking her into new situations. So what I'm hoping to find, and I'll know when I find the right horse. Like I think that my gut will really just tell me that, it's right or not when I see these ponies today. But what I'm really hoping to find is something that is very similar to Sweetheart, that has a little age on it, has some miles on it, is really sensible, but that does not have any sort of breathing limitations. I really don't want to ask any more of Sweetheart than I have to. She's perfectly fine for staying on the farm and doing, quiet meet and greets and beginner lessons here, but I don't think it will be in her best interest to be hauling on a regular basis. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm heading into town to the rescue to see what they have, and I'll keep you posted. Last little bit of info about these minis that I'm going to go and check out. One of them is, I think he's around 12 years old. It's a gelding, and he looks to be a chestnut and white pinto. So, he'd be nice and colorful. And then he's the larger of the two. I think he's around 34 inches tall. And truthfully, I don't really know how that would even compare to my current guys. I want to say Sweetheart is maybe around that height. She is a little bigger than Shenanigans and Rockstar. And then Snuggles, being a mini cross, is certainly larger than that. But that's the gelding. Again, he's around 12, I think. And then the second horse or mini that I want to look at, this is a mare, and she is around 20 years old, they're saying. So if she's like Sweetheart and she's had 20 really solid years under her belt, she could just be hands down phenomenal horsemanship, animal to use in lessons and to take to shows. And she could just be that really steady companion that I'm looking for. So we'll see. She is smaller though. I think they said she's around 31 inches. And so again, I'm not sure if that's a little smaller than even my smallest guys, or if that's around the same height. It's hard to know. I haven't been around that many minis to really gauge just how big or small my actual horses are in comparison. But she's older, she's smaller, she's a mare, and she is a really, really interesting color. She's an Appaloosa, but she almost looks like she's kind of a gray and white, frosted, dappled looking horse. And what's really funny about this is just yesterday I was talking to a student of mine, And we were saying how, it'd be so fun to have, more colorful horses, someday here on the farm. And I was saying the one color I really didn't want was going to be a gray, because gray horses are so hard to keep clean. As they get older, their dark gray usually turns white. And my friend was agreeing, well, my student, she was agreeing, and she was saying, oh yeah, what she really loved herself though were like the real dark, like we call them a steel gray or a dapple gray. And so when I went on to the rescue website last night and I saw the picture of this little mare, she looks more gray, as if she were like a steel gray with dapples. Even though she's an Appaloosa, she will keep that color. She will not turn white. So I'm like, well, is it meant to be? I don't know. So I can't wait to go see her. She also has like these little like speckles and freckles on her muzzle. She's one of those horses who's kind of so ugly they're cute. I don't know, that might not make any sense to some of you, but sometimes there are these horses and you're like, oh my gosh, they're all these bits and pieces and parts, and when you put them all together, they're just, cute as a button. So yeah, I'm excited to look at these horses today, to meet them, and I can't wait to tell you more. I just got back from the rescue, and I did have the chance to see a couple of minis. The gelding, the 34-inch, 12-year-old gelding, he was previously adopted earlier in the day, so he was not available. But I have to tell myself that's okay. He wasn't meant to be. He has found another home, and I'm sure he will be cared for just as wonderfully as he would be had he come home here to Carolat. So no worries there. They did, though, have the little mare, and I was able to meet her. 31 inches is very small. I will say that. She was smaller than I was thinking. So my guys, although I feel they are smaller minis, my guys must still be every bit of 32, 33 inches, because this little mare was very small. She certainly seemed a good bit smaller than anything I have on the farm. But the size wasn't an issue. I wasn't worried about that. She was real cute. But something that did concern me was that she was a little standoffish, a little nervous. She could possibly have just been, a little shy. I'm a new person, right? She doesn't really know me. I think I heard she'd only been on the farm there at the rescue for a few short days. Now, she'd been in quarantine previously, but she hasn't been handled a lot as of late. So that could have been part of it. However, I'm going to be really particular about the horse that I am searching for, because I know what I have, I know what I need, and I know what I'm looking for and want in my next mini. And I want to take my time and not push anything. I don't want to push the issue and bring a horse home that isn't a right fit. So, this little mare being a little shy and standoffish, I knew from the get-go, it wasn't exactly what I was looking for right now, in this moment in time. If I was looking for another project, perhaps so, right? But I'm not. I'm looking for that tried and true, steady Eddie, been there, done that kind of horse, very similar to Sweetheart. And I think I told you earlier, really what I'm looking for is a Sweetheart, 2.0. It's like, I want something that's just like her, but that doesn't have the upper respiratory issues, because I want to be able to take this horse off the farm and really do a little more with it. Whereas I feel with Sweetheart and her condition, I do feel she's a little more limited. She's still wonderfully useful, and she's such a great horse, and we will do so much with her, but I do want to keep her on the farm and not kind of be trailering her here, there, and everywhere. So that's really what I was looking for. Something really quiet, just really down to earth, and this little mare just wasn't quite going to fit that. So I had to pass. No new minis coming home, but I'll keep my eyes and ears open, and when the time is right, I imagine something else will present itself. So I hope you've enjoyed. Today was a little different, and I'm now going to give our friends here a little bit of evening hay. Sweetheart is forever hopeful for a second round of her morning breakfast. So I'm gonna give them a little more hay. They've got some good grass to munch on. You can see just how much hay the horses did not eat over the past 5 days. I've got these 4 piles raked up, and I'm just gonna remove all of this uneaten hay from the field. I have just finished raking up all of the old leftover hay that had been out here in the back field, and I'm gonna go ahead and kind of stash it in the run-in for if and when we need more clean bedding in there. I wanted to take a moment and speak a little about buttercups. You can see the horses are happy grazing, and there are a fair number of buttercups around the farm currently blooming. Buttercups are toxic. They do have a toxicity to them, but fortunately they are bitter tasting, and most horses tend to graze around them. You can see Shenanigans here. He's happy grazing, and there is that cluster close by, but he is very much eating the grass around the buttercups, which is wonderful. We'll soon need to mow these down. Hi, Shenanigans. Ah, sweet boy. His eyes are a little goopy. The pollen and all is still quite intense. Little rocks. Yeah. When I was grooming Sweetheart earlier, Rocky came right up behind me and was trying to get my attention. I think he was very eager to get more fly spray on. He definitely knows that it is a big help. Since I've started fly spraying more regularly, Rocky and Sweetheart are both doing great. They stand real well. Shenanigans and Snuggles here, you know, they're still on the fence about it. They still need some work, and it's best if I put a halter and lead rope on them just to kind of help them to stand and become accustomed, but we'll keep working on it. It'll take time, but they're coming along. Hi guys, a little up close and personal tonight. Hi guys. The cats are a little bit like dogs. Hey Shrimps, how you doing, buddy? Oh, a little tuft of hair. They're good companions. After I got home from visiting the rescue and taking a look at those minis, I decided that I wanted to come home and just spend some time with my minis. So everyone, you know, they're happy grazing out in the front ring now. But I did give them a little curry, and everyone got a little more fly spray. The spray had worn off a little, and they were beginning to kind of swat at some flies. So it was nice to spend a little time with them this evening. And then I went ahead and I just picked the backfield, the run-in, and the stall. Most of today's manure had just been accumulated in the stall and the run-in. That's where they are beginning to spend more time each day, just with the heat and the flies and the warm sunshine. So got a little bit of an early jump on tomorrow, I guess you could say. But now I've finished up and everyone's very happy, just hanging out. They've got hay in the back field. I just added a little fresh hay on top of the morning hay. They had not cleaned it up. They really picked through it a little bit. There was still quite a bit left. So at this point in time, it's almost the final week in April. With the 4 minis, I'm feeding them about 2 flakes of hay in the morning. Usually I take 1 flake and I split it into 2 piles in the back. And then I take I take a flake and I split that into 2 piles in the front stall. And that way there's hay, you know, in multiple places for them. So that's working well. And then come evening time, you know, because they are not eating a tremendous amount of hay, they're very happy grazing on the little bit of grass we have. I'm really just taking 1 flake and topping the morning piles off. So right now we're eating very little hay, and that's nice because the horses seem to be staying healthy and happy and comfortable. No one seems to be showing any sort of signs of, you know, becoming the least bit footsore or laminitic. So that's really, really good. You know, we just didn't know going into spring with these new minis that we've never journeyed through the year with before. So that's all really good news to report. This breeze feels wonderful. It's a little sticky tonight. we had that rain this morning, and I think the rain is over, but there's still quite a bit of humidity. So I'm gonna say farewell for the evening, and I will talk to you guys another day. So check back soon. Bye, guys. Today ended up being a very different day than I originally thought it would be, but it was still a great day, and looking forward to tomorrow. I hope to do some fence painting and a little work in the garden, but this was a pretty nice way to spend a Saturday. Thanks for joining. Bye, guys.